Well, Mother and Daddy had built a house in Kerrville, and so I was here 6 weeks after I was born. And just a little sidebar there, I had the privilege of holding the heaviest baby boy for 3 months. I weighed 10 pounds when I was born. My, uh, maternal grandfather, Albert Klett, who was a county, clerk here in Fredericksburg, built a shoebox for me. And every time we'd have family or visitors come to the house, I'd pull out the shoe shine box and I would shine shoes for a nickel a pair. And that's where I started my business career. Well, when I was living in Houston, we were subscribing to the paper, and we got it every Thursday evening. And we were looking at real estate to come up and be able to locate a property in it. We found out that there was a group that's getting together to and they were formed as the Center for Youth, going to be primarily for teenagers to have a place to go after school. And that Center for Youth evolved then several years later into a Boys and Girls Club through the Boys and Girls Club of America. And so it started out as a club, one club here in Fredericksburg, and it's expanded to two other clubs in Bernie and Comfort. Well, a part of it was, growing up and having other people come to my rescue, if you will, that I was in need of something and they would provide it, and and it was just a matter of what I call passing it on, giving it back. What I was able to have, it was a matter of reaching out and doing the same thing for other people.
My name's John Wells, and I am the market president for Texas Regional Bank here in town. I started my career way back when, after I graduated from the University of Texas, working for Texas Monthly Magazine. And the founder and publisher there, Mike Levy, I remember him saying, service to your community is the most important thing that you can do. And I just never forgot that. He said how important it was to give selflessly and not to do it to get acclaim or to get fanfare or applause, but just do it because it's the right thing to do. They were really excited that I was being recognized for this because they know how passionate I am about service, and I really want to inspire. A lot of people don't think that there's anything that they can get involved in, or that they're too busy. And I am a perfect example that with a full-time job and having my family life, that's not an excuse. I mean, we need people out there. We need young people being the new face of Fredericksburg. Look for the people who are actually out there doing things and ask them, what got you involved, and ask questions and get curious about what makes people passionate. I really think that people should stop talking about doing things and just do them. That's kind of my philosophy. Just get out there and get started. What better time than now?
I really appreciate, I guess, the term servant leadership, and not just the word leadership. And I think it's a word that was handed down to me through the tradition of Christianity. Jesus putting on the servant towel, washing feet, and how can we make others better, value others, appreciate? How do we do that as leaders? We have to find those places where there's need, and find those places where we have gifts, and X marks the spot where we go and get involved. They're more excited about it than I am. Let's just say it that way. I just kind of think it's a lot of focus on one person, and there's so many people in our community that have poured into community that it's hard, I think, to pick out a person and pick out me as being the recipient of that. It's about community, and I know we're kind of celebrating a person in this, but I think it's more of a celebration of community. I think to try to create in whatever environment you're in a culture of servant leadership with your constituents. You do that, I think, by example. I think the other thing is there was a speaker once. His name is Patrick Lencioni, and he talked about the ideal team player. And the ideal team player is one who is hungry, humble, and smart. And hungry in the sense that you have the vision and you drive for it. You cast it out there. Humble in the sense that you may be the smartest person in the room. I'm not, but if you are, you don't act like it, and you can always learn from someone else. And then smart, not just intellectually smart, but emotionally smart, able to read the room, sense which way the wind is blowing, and seize those moments in those times. And so I think to me, that ideal team player as a servant leader is what it takes to continue to help move the needle.
Well, I was honored. But I also thought, God, there's so many other people in this community that would likely also deserve this award. So it was mixed, uh, honored, but feeling like I had a lot of competition and a lot of people that justly would have deserved the award too. It's not a sacrifice. Uh, I get so much enrichment. I feel so good about myself and being able to help. And I think most people do that. When you help other people, or you feel good. And so every time the door is open, it's again, I don't look at it as an obligation as much as an honor to be able to serve in another way. I'd encourage them, just get involved. You get more than you receive, and by being involved, you make this community better. And this community has a history of 150, 200 years of people being involved, and it's made this community great. And each year it becomes greater because people care. A lot of people look at Fredericksburg from the outside, and they see the main street, and they see the wineries, and they see the museums, and they say, "What a fabulous community." But when you're on the inside, what you see is the volunteerism, the people that care about their neighbors, the close community. And that's what makes Fredericksburg great.
We came to town and wanted to get involved. And I'm a true believer that I'd like to affiliate myself with people that inspire and challenge me. And there's no better place to do that on the boards and the committees and the volunteers. And I served on the chamber board the first time with Champ Carter and Bobby Watson and Stephen Harris and Billy Johnson. And all those guys are still, day to day true friends. And that's the biggest benefit I've gotten out of it for sure. Um, but just seeing the community positively react to things we did. Probably 17, maybe 18, somewheres like that. I was on chamber board about 12 years ago, and I served 2 terms. And I followed up my ex-wife. She was on it twice also. So I really got involved there, but I was actually involved prior to that also. Um, and then, and by far, that's my favorite chamber event. Uh, it's a tremendous economic generator for our community, and I don't really know if everybody realizes that. I think most people just think of it as a fun night to come and watch the parade. It's the recognition that I did some things right, primarily. Um, it also uh, means that I'll be listed in that chamber banquet book in perpetuity. We've had a lot of folks that have come and gone out of Fredericksburg that were part of that and were part of this same award. and I'm very proud to be part of that. Sherman Durst was one of them. Boyd Harper, way back in the 70s. Those were all people that inspired me and people that mentored me and people that sent me in the right direction when I needed some direction. It's very rewarding. Todd Edison last year, he's kind of been a hero of mine on the building side for a very long time. So it's just very humbling, but I'm very proud of the fact that I'm going to be in that list.
I'm very honored and I love this community. I've mentioned that before, but this town is full of generous, hardworking, brilliant, kind people. So to be included in that is quite humbling, actually. Bob and I moved to Fredericksburg in 1997 and started a business here with no experience. We came here with 3 boys and a couple of dogs and 2 moving vans and started Hill Country Outfitters. Through that business and through our relationships with bankers, other retailers, we just quickly understood why Fredericksburg was such a wonderful community. My first involvement was with the Heritage School where my children went to school. And then I was asked to serve on the board of the Admiral Nimitz Foundation, which was a huge honor. So that's where I really got to know other people in the community and the level of commitment and generosity. I want to thank God for bringing us here. He blew the doors open for us, and we owe everything to Him. I want to thank my parents for instilling a work ethic. I want to thank my husband for staying married to me. I want to thank my kids for making me laugh. I want to thank my close friends who have rallied around my efforts, and I want to thank my customers who've made all of this possible. Their investment in us has actually allowed us to invest in others. My parents started coming to Fredericksburg in the 50s for the peaches. So when I was a little girl, every summer we got to get to Fredericksburg to get peaches. And, I was in the back in the station wagon. I didn't know where I was. And I went home with peach fuzz on my cheeks from eating so many peaches. And that has stuck with me forever. And so I tell people the beginning of tourism was agriculture. People came here for the peaches and for the German heritage. And to this day, people come back. And I hope they'll do that for hundreds of years.